Hello, sports fans. Your boy the Blue Wine here today to give you a recap of Florida Gator football and this past weekend of top 25 college football. So we're gonna start off with the Florida Gators. Florida Gators coming tonight's game, ranked number 8, as they take on the number 6 ranked LSU Tigers. Battle of unbeaten. It's the only two teams remaining unbeaten in the SEC. So after tonight's game, there's only gonna be one team left unbeaten. And who would that be? Well, unfortunately, it ain't the Florida Gators, as they were hung in there. They played till they battled down. They battled to come back. Even score two touchdowns in the third quarter to even tie the game up. At one time, it looked promising like Florida might actually pull it off. They lose 35-28. I wasn't disappointed that they lost. I still say they are a team that's going to be forced to reckon with. And I still think they can pull off the rest of the season is not losing another game for a season. I think they can go all the way to the SEC championship game, which I think they will. But Trayon Harris, who came in for Real Greer, he did an alright job. He did make some bad passes that he should have made. A missed touchdown in the end zone, which could have been costly. Well, what really hurt the Gators the most was that last touchdown play LSU got when it was a 4th and 13 fake field goal, 16-yard pass to the kicker. So, that was ultimately the winning touchdown for LSU. But Florida, Trayon Harris went 17 for 32 with 271 yards and 2 TDs, no pick, no turnover for the Gators. That's a good thing. Callaway had 3 yards reception for 100 yards, 3 receptions for 100 yards. Also had a 72-yard punt return, 300 for a touchdown. Then they had 327 yards total offense. Well, they only had 55 yards yesterday. LSU stopped the run game. The defense struggled mildly. They gave up 423 yards total yards, 202 passing, and 271 yards rushing. Leonard Fournette had 180 yards, so they had him under 880 yards. That 180 yards didn't look too impressive as it has been looking for him over the past year against teams. He had to work hard for those yards on most of them. So, but he had 2 touchdowns. So they still look good. I still think they can run the table. And, they got a bye week this week, So, and there's a possibility Rick Greer might return. They saying he's going to appeal, and if his appeal is successful, he will be back this year. But if his appeal is not successful, then he'll be gone the rest of this year and first 6 games of next year. So, Trayon Harris will have to be the man for right now. And I think he did a fine job. I think he showed his versatility that's a little different between Real Grill. Real Grill has a better accurate arm and more consistent passer, but Trayon Harris can also use his legs better than Real Grill, I think. So they had the chance to win, but like I said, I'm still impressed with them. They did a damn good job. Because they went to a hostile environment where under Les Miles, it's very rare that you can beat them at home at LSU at nighttime. So they lost by a touchdown, and they scored 28 points, which is also kind of hard to do against that LSU team at home at nighttime. So up next we have a bye week. Then we back to business on Halloween against Georgia Bulldogs, which I think that game right there could decide the fate of the Florida Gators, whether they're gonna win the SEC East or not. I think they will win, and I think that game right there will be the clincher for us, and we will move to the SEC championship game with that victory. Because after that we got South Carolina and Vanderbilt, then we got Florida Atlantic and Florida State. So we don't got 2 more games after this Georgia game to win. So the only other, if we beat Georgia, the only other left we have left would be Kentucky, unless Kentucky can lose to another game or 2. If they lose another game, then we win out. We win out anyway. There's nobody gonna stop us. Everybody else got 2 losses so far, and we on tiebreaker between the ones that got the 2 losses. And if we beat Georgia, we're on tiebreaker between them 2. So things looking good. Florida, even though they lost, Florida back. I think they can run the table. I believe they will. I believe that will be the only loss they had this season, coming to the SEC championship game, which I kind of hope it be LSU, so I think we can get revenge and beat them. Cause I think we can beat them. But it's either gonna be between LSU and Alabama. I predict, and I think the Gators will play 1 or 2, and hopefully if they win out, maybe they be good enough to move up into the top 4 to play in the playoffs. And if they do, then hey, I'm all for it. You know, to me, regardless of the fact outcome of the rest of the season, it was been a good season for the Gators. A lot of promise because, you know, like I said, they was predicted to go as they have so far. So, you know, I'm still proud of them. I'm still proud to be a Florida Gator. So we're gonna get down to the top 25 action. We had number 18, UCLA Bruins playing number 15 Stanford. Stanford wins 56-35. We had number 24 ranked Houston Cougars beating Tulane 42-7. It was number 21 Boise State upset by Utah State 52-26. We had number 22 Toledo beating Eastern Michigan 60-20. We had number 17 Iowa blasting number 20 Northwestern 40-10. It was Baylor number 2 in a blowout fashion over West Virginia 62-38. It was number 13 ranked Ole Miss upset by the Memphis Tigers 37-24. With that win, Memphis moves undefeated and moves to number 18 in the top 25. We had number 11 Florida State Seminoles beating Louisville 41-21. We had number 10 Alabama cruising over number 9 Texas A&M 41-23, handing Texas A&M that first loss season. So that means LSU Tigers the only undefeated team in the SEC. We had number 19 Oklahoma after their comeback from their loss last week against Texas, manhandling Kansas 55-0. It was a good game, came down to the last play of the game, but Michigan State came back and pulled off the upset, beating number 12 Michigan 27-23. It was Clemson by 17. Number 5 Clemson by 17 on Boston College 34-17. Like I said, it was the number 8 Florida Gators losing to LSU number 6 35-28. It was TCU number 3 beating Iowa State 45-21. We had the Fighting Irish in a hard-fought victory number 14 beating USC 41-31. And the number 1 Ohio State Buckeyes reigned supreme, dominating by 4 touchdowns on Penn State 38-10. And it was the Utah number 4 beating Arizona State 34-18. So the AP top 5 for this week was Ohio State, Baylor, Utah, TCU, LSU. My personal top 5 like this week had to be Ohio State, Baylor, Clemson, LSU, and Alabama. And a lot of people say why Alabama want to jump past all those other guys like Michigan State and all them who ain't got no losses because Alabama had a tougher game and they beat a top 10 team. And I think Alabama proved that loss on Ole Miss might have been a fluke, but you know you never know. As they got LSU in 3 weeks. Next week, fight Alabama Crystal Tide. It's Tennessee Volunteers. LSU, you know, getting prepared. They got Ole Miss. I think they got Texas A&M got Ole Miss. But as far as the top 25 matchup for next week, it's only got one, what I just said, Texas A&M and Ole Miss. So you know. Still a lot of time for your team to come, for your teams, if they ain't got no losses to continue to roll and still fight for a shot at that SEC. I mean for that NCAA college football playoffs. You know, Florida with that loss they still in it. They went from number 8 to number 13. So you know anything happen. See they off this week, so you know there's a possibility if a couple teams get upset this week. They can be right back in the mix of things, back in the top 10. So, you know, you never know. You know, Florida went out. I don't see how you can't put them back in the hunt for the title unless all the teams is ranked up continue to win. But, you know, someone going to lose. You know, you can still got Alabama, LSU. One of them got to lose. And then possibly Florida going to be playing one of them in the SEC championship game because I think Ole Miss is done for. Even though they got one loss, they still could play for the SEC championship, but it would hurt the SEC if they was the one to make it because they got 2 losses. And that loss hurt them, even though Memphis is an undefeated team, because, you know, a 2-loss team from the SEC playing for the SEC championship game is going to be kind of hard for the bowl community to want to put back into the playoff system. So, you know, so we all have to bank on either LSU, Alabama, or Florida. Texas A&M still got a shot, you know. But right now, the best 3 teams in the SEC is Alabama, Texas A&M. Alabama, LSU, and Florida. To me, are the top 3 dogs in the SEC right now. You know, Texas A&M. I think they probably like number 4 because you know they struggle mildly against Alabama, but I don't think they're as good as the paper says. So I predict that it's gonna be Florida winning the East still. I predict they're gonna beat Georgia in 2 weeks. I predict they're gonna run the table. I think they're gonna go to win the rest of their regular season games and play in the SEC championship game against. I think it's gonna be the LSU Tigers. We're gonna find out a rematch, and I think the outcome will be totally different as we're not going to Baton Rouge. We'll be in Atlanta, so the floor will be a neutral site. So I think the advantage goes to Florida. I think that we'll be prepared, better prepared, and I think McElwain is the right fit for the Gators, and I think he got them boys ready. It's a loss for us. It hurt us a little bit, but it didn't hurt us as bad as Texas A&M loss did. Because they still in the dog fight. There's only really, to me, there's only like one legitimate team that has a chance to dethrone us in the SEC East this year, and that's either going to be Kentucky Wildcats or Georgia Bulldogs. Because, Kentucky only got 2 losses, so if they run the table and we lose to Georgia and somebody else, then Kentucky will win it. Or if Georgia beat us and they run the table, they'll win it. So this game against Georgia is going to really determine if Florida is really going to be the SEC East champs. I think if they beat them, I don't see how they won't win the SEC East, because I don't see them losing to Vanderbilt or South Carolina. But you never know from week to week. Teams come and play when you never expect them. So a lot of people never thought we was gonna beat Ole Miss, but they did. A lot of people didn't think Ole Miss was gonna lose Memphis, but they did. So a lot of people didn't think that Georgia was gonna lose Tennessee, but they did. So you never know. Just like I thought Ole Miss was gonna beat Alabama, but they did it. So things happen. That's the way football goes. But I'm still gonna support the Gators, and hopefully that things looking still gonna be bright for the future Gators, no matter what happens this rest of the season. I'm proud to be a Florida Gator, and I say that Florida football is officially back. I'm disappointed at the loss, but I'm not totally upset, because I still know that we still got fight in us, and I know that we can compete with the best in the college football. So with saying that, my name is DeBluan. Once again, I am glad to be a Florida Gator, and I'd like to say peace, God bless, and I'm out.